The law of attraction can be a double-edged sword. If you don't know what you are doing, you can literally crash your life. I didn't just wreck my car, my whole world came crashing down around me. I'll explain more shortly. Have there been times in your life when you felt like you had the Midas touch in reverse? Everything you touch seems to turn to crap. This is the exact same thing I'm talking about. It may not be as dramatic as a car crash, losing your home, partner and money like I did, but the exact same root cause is behind it. You see, these are just the symptoms of manifestation, not the root cause. If you don't know what you are doing with the great power of manifestation, it will bite you on the backside. The greatest law of attraction expert the world has ever known, Jesus Christ, said, "All things are possible unto you. Also, the things I do, you can do." Did he tell the truth? The power he possessed was developed through his personal effort. He said you could do the same things if you would only believe in yourself. The sad fact is that most people are not even aware of the law of attraction, and even those that are aware of it can't seem to get it to work consistently. They tiredly grind onwards through life unsatisfied and unfulfilled, even after reading countless books and courses on the law of attraction. What that means to you, if you fall into that boat, is you'll likely give up on your life dreams and aspirations and remain frustrated that the things you desire remain out of your reach. You'll go through life with the pain of feeling like you've failed. Here's the trouble that you face when you accept lack and limitation as a way of life, thinking life is a constant struggle and barely making ends meet from week to week. You diminish your power, deny your friends and family of you at your best, and possibly worst of all is that you teach your children that life is difficult and that they need to settle for less than they desire. Keep watching for another couple of minutes and I'll explain 3 mistakes you must absolutely avoid when using the law of attraction, and more importantly, how to fix them. You'll learn what may be blocking you from getting the money you need or desire, the soul mate, or better friendships and relationships you yearn for, and becoming healthy and feeling good with the well-being you deserve. And as a gift, I'll share with you a technique that was used by a student of the teachings to manifest $20,000. But before I tell you about the 3 mistakes, and more importantly, how to avoid them, I'd like to tell you a short story about some of my experiences of the law of attraction, manifestation, visualization, and the unified field. Hi, my name is Richard Hargreaves and I've just turned 60 and I've had my share of ups and downs. Fortunately, many more ups than downs. Everyone visualizes. It's the great secret to success, especially the conscious use of it. When I was in my early 20s, I visualized getting a pay rise. I had done a 4-year apprenticeship as a graphic artist and was now fully qualified. My pay was a pittance from the other tradesmen, a normal occurrence for tradespeople who had served their apprenticeships there. For weeks, I envisaged myself marching into the boss's office and requesting a rise, and getting it. Finally, I plucked up the courage and made an appointment to see him. The time came. With my heart beating fast and my palms sweating, I knocked on his office door. A deep voice bellowed out, "Come in, shut the door and sit down." I sat down timidly and nervously proceeded to tell him why I deserved more money. After I had finished explaining all the reasons, I felt good and was sure he would say yes. To my shock and dismay, as if he hadn't heard a word I just said, he told me I wasn't worth a penny more than what I was currently being paid. But he'd give me an extra $10 just as a goodwill gesture. I was gobsmacked. Wasn't worth any more? I was doing as good a job, if not better, than many of the other tradesmen, and they were getting $100 more per week than me. With my head down and tail between my legs, I got up from the chair and left his office. What made the situation even more embarrassing was that I had told all the other tradesmen I was asking for a raise. I felt I had egg all over my face. And then the weirdest thing happened. As I was walking past the staff phone, it rang. I never received phone calls at work, so didn't even think to pick it up. Another tradesman who sat next to it picked it up and shouted out, "It's for you, Richard." took the phone and timidly mumbled into the receiver. "Yes, this is Richard. Who's this?" It was Freddie, another tradesman who had left to go to another place to work a few months earlier. He quickly got to the point of his call. "They have an opening for a good tradesman here. Are you interested in coming for an interview?" I went the next day. I got the job, and my pay was more than double what I had been getting, $360 more to be exact. I can't explain how satisfying the feeling was to hand in my resignation at my old job 2 days after my rise was knocked back. You should have seen the look on my boss's face. He couldn't get me out of there fast enough when he saw all the other tradesmen around my desk hearing about how much I was going to get paid. So I didn't even have to work a final week. I was given a week's pay in advance and asked to leave. I had unconsciously used the law of attraction to great effect by imagining myself getting that rise. Not exactly in the way I was expecting, but the outcome is what counts. This was an important lesson, and one of the mistakes I want you to avoid. When using the law of attraction, you must visualize and focus on the end result and allow the universe to deliver to you in its own way. It will create its own channels. Do not get caught up expecting the desired result in a way you think is most likely. That will cause stress and disappointment and likely failure. It may come in the way you expect, but just as likely may not. So don't get hung up on the how. Just follow the system I'll explain soon. Earlier, when I was just 19 years of age, I joined the local gym. I'll never forget what unfolded as I sat across the gym manager's desk. He was taking down my details to prepare an exercise program and asked me what my goals were. When I said, "I want to win a Mr. Australia bodybuilding title," he almost fell off his chair laughing. And to make me feel even worse, he called one of the instructors in and promptly had her rolling in stitches too. Admittedly, weighing only 10 stone at 6 feet tall, I didn't look like Mr. Australia material, but to be laughed at in the face like that was extremely embarrassing. I trained hard for several years and decided to enter my first bodybuilding contest. It was a suburban level show and there were around 24 contestants. All my family and friends came, only to come and watch me come second last. Not a good start, quite embarrassing in fact. Again, I felt embarrassed, humiliated, and the gym manager seemed to take delight when he heard about the result. But I was determined still to win a Mr. Australia. I trained extra hard for another couple of years, never missing a workout and studiously devouring everything I could find in regards to learning how to build big muscles and getting six-pack abs. And I improved greatly, enough to place second in a state level show and qualify me to enter Mr. Australia. I was still a long way off though from the standard of a Mr. Australia, a national level show. 6 months later, I decided to enter the 1984 Mr. Australia contest. I remember on the day, a so-called friend, more like a frenemy, came up to me and said, "Have you seen Stuart? He's got 21-inch arms. And George, he's ripped to the bone. And Dean, what great balance." As he walked off, he said, "It'll be a great man who wins this show," implying that it wouldn't be me. My jaw dropped to the floor. I already felt sick in the stomach with nerves, but now I felt like I had been kicked in the guts as well. I was shell-shocked, feeling really deflated and defeated hearing his words. Luckily, I had a true friend with me who pointed out that the frenemy had done that because he wanted someone else to win and saw me as a threat. He was purposely trying to put me off, and that gave me the lift I needed to stand tall again and go back on stage for the final round of judging. And this is the second mistake I want you to avoid when using the law of attraction. Do not allow outside circumstances knock you off your feet and cause doubt. The power you're using responds equally to fear as well as enthusiasm. You must stay focused on your desired outcome without fear. I have a system that helps you do this. I'll explain more later. Anyway, 30 minutes later, the MC announced the winner of the 1984 Mr. Australia is Richard Hargreaves. Anyway, when I was announced the winner, tears of joy ran down my face. I I had never had tears of joy in my life before, but the emotional build-up in me over several years with all that had gone on before was released on stage. I had great satisfaction later that evening as I went up to my frenemy and with tongue-in-cheek said, "You were right, a great man did win." You should have seen his reaction, priceless. He turned bright red, looked down because he couldn't look me in the eye, and did an about-face and raced off, disappearing into the crowd like a rat up a drain pipe. Unfortunately, the gym manager who had laughed at me no longer worked at the gym where I trained. But as a consolation, the gym owner offered me his old job. I have a confession to make about my winning that show. I had a secret weapon, and I wasn't even aware of it at the time. To overcome the boredom of running several times a week to burn body fat, as I'd run, I'd imagine myself up on stage winning the Mr. Australia, getting handed my trophy, holding it overhead, hearing the applause from the crowd, etc. Like I said, I did this to fill in the time and relieve the boredom of running. Little did I know at the time that what I was doing was a powerful visualization technique that utilised the law of attraction. I was 26 when I won the title and quickly went to work on my next goal, to own a gym. I did that within 2 years and set my next goal, to be a millionaire before the age of 30. I opened a second gym, much larger than the first. Each night I would lay in bed planning out the new gym, picturing what equipment I had, where it was situated, the showers, saunas, my office, reception desk, aerobics, cardio area. I laid out a blueprint in my head over and over every night, and step by step it became a reality. I remember I got a phone call one night asking me if I wanted to buy equipment from a gym that had closed several years before, and the equipment was in storage. I was getting it for pennies on the dollar, so jumped at the opportunity. Couldn't believe my luck. Next I had to find a location, a building, and that became a bit of a stumbling block. Main problem was town planning. To have a gym, I needed a permit for a place of public assembly, which required lots of parking spaces. I was beginning to really stress out because I had made applications for dozens of buildings, and each time the council would knock them back, denying me a permit. Then, out of the blue, when I was lying sick in bed with the flu, at a real low point and feeling like giving up, I got a phone call from a landlord. He had the ideal building in an ideal location with a bargain basement price rent, and it already had a permit for a gym because in the past it had been a kids' gymnastics gym. Miraculously, I recovered from the flu overnight. I felt like I was off to the races. I opened the second gym and had a hugely successful opening launch campaign, generating a lot of money. And everything looked on the outside to be going fine. In fact, many people were envious of my lifestyle, which was very good. I was hooning around in a red 911 Porsche, dining at restaurants every night for dinner, taking expensive vacations, wore nice clothes, owned a nice home in an upmarket area. Everything seemed to be going fine until crash. I literally crashed my 911 Porsche on the way to a motivational breakfast. I didn't feel very motivated that day after that. And then, one by one, everything that I had worked so hard to create started collapsing down around me. My driving goal to be a millionaire before I was 30 caused me to rush and make some really bad decisions. Long story short, I lost everything, even my marriage, and had to start over. How embarrassing. Behind my back, lots of people were rubbing their hands in glee that I'd come a cropper. In Australia, that's called the tall poppy syndrome. I did a lot of soul searching after the crash. I felt lost for about a year, but I was determined to get back up again and learned from my mistakes. But the lessons I learned were priceless, and luckily a friend recommended I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and then Earl Nightingale's The Stranger's Secret and Maxwell Maltz's Psycho-Cybernetics. Over the next 2 years I read over 200 of these self-help books and listened to over 100 audio recordings and attended many courses and seminars and trainings. I devoured everything I could get my hands on in regards to personal development and unlocking the power and potential we all have in us as humans. I studied and practiced meditation, brainwave frequencies, cities and other higher powers. But of all the books I read, one really stood out. It was recommended by Bob Proctor and called Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Behrend. To say I read this book is an understatement. I literally demolished it. Being only a very short book, less than 100 pages, I could read it from cover to cover twice a week. So I read it several hundred times, to the extent that it fell apart and I had to sellotape it together. That is one of the secrets to the power of this little book, the fact that it's small. It condenses vast amounts of information into a very compact and easy to understand format. There were some books that I'd read and they would take forever, not just because of their size, but also their complexity. Not so with Your Invisible Power. It can be read quickly and is easy to digest. It was quoted in The Secret and regarded by experts as the original and best book on visualization for success. But it does have one small flaw. More to that in a minute. Now, armed with the knowledge from these books, I realised how I'd unconsciously been using the law of attraction and been manifesting outcomes for years. I'd been using the law of attraction without being aware such a thing even existed. But the real power came when I started to consciously use these laws. Your Invisible Power gave me the blueprint of what to do, and most importantly, what not to do when manifesting your desired life. You see, the law of attraction and the visualizing faculty are double-edged swords. If you don't know what you're doing, they can backfire on you, and in a big way. Fear is a powerful force, and as noted in the Bible in the book of Job 3:25, that what you fear will come upon you. But using the powers consciously and correctly, I quickly rebuilt my life. And the great thing was I was much happier than before. The old me was so driven. I was in a constant state of hurry, worry and stress. The new me had absolute confidence that a greater power was taking care of things behind the scenes. All I had to do was join the dots. Very fun to do and stress-free. I've banged on long enough about myself here. I want to move on to how I can help you. But before I do, just let me quickly tell you some of the things the new me did with the conscious use of the law of attraction. I started a sports supplement business with no money because I'd lost it all, and using a very small cash advance of a few $100s on a credit card, built the business to $20,000 per week in less than a year. I moved from a single bedroom dump in a crummy location to an upmarket suburb into a luxury penthouse overlooking a beautiful bay in the city of Melbourne. I got married again, this time to my soulmate, very happy this time. Got a regular spot on radio as a fitness presenter, wrote for many fitness magazines, got an abundance of personal training clients, and appeared over 100 times in film and TV extras roles in just a 1-year period, including a Jackie Chan movie. And now I wake to the heavenly sound of angels each morning as my 2 daughters, who are opera singers, practice. We live in $1 million plus home, have 2 nice cars, have many sources of autopilot income made possible because of the internet and the law of attraction. And it doesn't feel like I ever have to work anymore because my days are filled with doing stuff I love. I do still work, it's just I enjoy what I do so much I don't think of it as work. So now to you, and what all the previous stuff I've mentioned means, and what the flaw is to the original version of Your Invisible Power. You don't have to go through all the ups and downs, hits and misses I endured. I've done all the hard work researching and testing in the University of Real Life what works, what doesn't, what you should avoid, all the pitfalls so to speak. And I've taken my combined knowledge of over 200 books and 100 audio tapes and practical experience and written what I called the missing chapter in Your Invisible Power and put it into Your Invisible Power Quantum Belief Edition system. Although Genevieve Behrend's original book is great for those who want to take the time to study the underlying science, for those who don't have time or the inclination, I have done it for you. I have written a new chapter which supercharges the effectiveness of the book and your results. Let me explain. In the original book written 100 years ago and tested by thousands upon thousands of successful students, it leaves the science of the mind-matter connection up to the reader to explore. And that's what I did to unfold the power of the book. I scientifically explored the connection. and I'm giving you my findings so you don't have to do any of the work. And this leads into the third mistake I want you to avoid when using the law of attraction. Let me explain why my missing chapter is so important. One very important aspect of using the law of attraction is in believing it works. Just visualizing something won't manifest it. It needs to be combined with feeling, real genuine feeling, as if you already had the thing you are imagining. And that's what my missing chapter does for you. It enables you to create the feeling that the thing you desire is already yours. It does this by removing the mystery surrounding the mind-matter connection. It explains how the latest quantum mechanical physics supports how the law of attraction works, how your thoughts manifest into reality. The chapter expands your awareness by giving you a deep level of understanding so that it becomes natural for you to feel like you already have the thing you desire. Faith and belief does the heavy lifting. It can metaphorically move mountains. The missing chapter is aimed at giving you this superpower. It raises your level of awareness and understanding to a height that normally takes years of study and work. This is your shortcut. You are going to use your dreams as a blueprint for your new successful life. Life will become a dream, not the nightmare you may have been experiencing. And for those who have tried using the law of attraction before and had mixed hit and miss results, this is your answer to getting consistent results. Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition raises your level of awareness so that it overcomes and solves beginner's luck syndrome. Beginner's luck syndrome is where you initially have great results with the law of attraction, but then the results stop. My missing chapter explains why this happens, and the special new missing chapter offers the solution. Since you've watched so far into this video, as promised, I'd like to reward you with part of the technique on how Genevieve Behrend attracted $20,000. She needed the money to go to England to study with her teacher of metaphysics, Thomas Troward, and this is what she did to attract the money, in Genevieve's own words.
20 imaginary $1,000 bills were counted over each night in my bedroom, and then, with the idea of more emphatically impressing my mind with the fact that this $20,000 was for the purpose of going to England and studying with Troward, I wrote out my picture, saw myself buying my steamer ticket, walking up and down the ship's deck from New York to London, and finally saw myself accepted as Troward's pupil. This process was repeated every morning and every evening, always impressing more and more fully upon my mind Troward's memorized statement. My mind is a center of divine operations. I endeavored to keep this statement in the back part of my consciousness all the time, with no thought in mind of how the money might be obtained. Probably the reason why there was no thought of the avenues through which the money might reach me was because I could not possibly imagine where $20,000 would come from. So I simply held my thoughts steady and let the power of attraction find its own ways and means.
Genevieve then explains the underlying principles of what she was doing.
To get good results, we must properly understand our relation to the great impersonal power we are using. It is intelligent, and we are intelligent, and the two intelligences must cooperate. We must not fly in the face of the law expecting it to do for us what it can only do through us, and we must therefore use our intelligence with the knowledge that it is acting as the instrument of a greater intelligence. And because we have this knowledge, we may and should cease from all anxiety as to the final result. In actual practice, we must first form the ideal conception of our object with the definite intention of pressing it upon the universal mind. It is this thought that takes such thought out of the region of mere casual fancies, and then affirm that our knowledge of the law is sufficient reason for a calm expectation of a corresponding result, and that therefore all necessary conditions will come to us in due order. We can then turn to the affairs of our daily life with the calm reassurance that the initial conditions are either there already or will soon come into view. If we do not at once see them, let us rest content with the knowledge that the spiritual prototype is already in existence and wait till some circumstance pointing in the desired direction begins to show itself. It may be a very small circumstance, but it is the direction and not the magnitude which is to be taken into consideration. As soon as we see it, we should regard it as the first sprouting of the seed sown in the absolute, and do calmly, and without excitement, whatever the circumstances seem to require. And then later on, we shall see that this doing will in turn lead to a further circumstance in the same direction, until we find ourselves conducted, step by step, to the accomplishment of our object. In this way, the understanding of the great principle of the law of supply will, by repeated experiences, deliver us more and more completely out of the region of anxious thought and toilsome labor, and bring us into a new world, where the useful employment of all our powers, whether mental or physical, will only be an unfolding of our individuality upon the lines of its own nature, and therefore a perpetual source of happiness, a sufficient inducement, surely, to the careful study of the laws governing the relation on between the individual and universal mind.
Okay, that gives you some of the method and underlying principle of how Genevieve was able to attract $20,000. Don't underestimate how powerful the technique is, despite how simple and easy it is to do. That is the power of this little book. It makes using the law of attraction simple to understand and easy to put into practice. But back to the complete Your Invisible Power quantum system I have created. Even if everything you have tried in the past has failed, what I have here is new and different and offers you hope of success this time. This is what you have been missing before. It's the only method which addresses the root problem, not a symptom, solves the real underlying problem, which is a lack of true belief, not the symptom, which is the lack of or inconsistent results. Other books and courses only treat the symptoms of the problem. Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition treats the problem at the roots, the real problem, the underlying cause. Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition is a complete system, very easy to understand and implement and get immediate results. It's your invisible power on steroids. The system comprises of 4 main components: an ebook, a planner, a morning MP3 and an evening MP3. Let me explain each component in more detail. Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition book. This is Genevieve Behrend's timeless classic book on the law of attraction, updated and supercharged with the missing chapter. It will put an end to hit and miss results once and for all. The more enthusiasm and faith you are able to put into your picture, the more quickly it will come into visible form. The missing chapter does this by supercharging your belief. It is valued at $49. The second component is the planner, Your Invisible Power Visualization and Synchronicities Planner Diary. This is designed to keep your mind focused on what to do each day, making it easy and accelerating your results. Jotting down the synchronicities provides constant wins, which accelerates your results and keeps you super motivated. The planner is valued at $28. The third component is the Power Awakening Audio MP3. This is uplifting Baroque classical music which pulses at 50 to 80 beats per minute with underlying subliminal messages. It stabilizes mental, physical and emotional rhythms while implanting the new belief. The stabilization helps the listener to achieve a state of deeper concentration and focus as the affirmations are accepted deep into the subconscious mind. You listen to it for 15 minutes each morning before getting out of bed. Subliminal messages bypass barriers in the conscious mind and go straight into the subconscious. The messages are taken from the book and are designed to accelerate your results. The Power Awakening MP3 is valued at $39. The fourth and final component of the system is the Power Dreaming Audio MP3. This is super relaxing new age music by American composer Kevin MacLeod with underlying subliminal messaging. You listen to it for 15 minutes while in bed each night before sleep. Subliminal messages bypass barriers in the conscious mind and go straight into the subconscious. The messages are taken from the book and are designed to accelerate your results. The Power Dreaming MP3 is valued at $39. Let me recap. The book is quick to read and simple and easy to follow. There is no overwhelm. What happens when old meets new? Proven law of attraction classic teaching combines forces with quantum mechanics? Results that will blow your mind. system builds constant wins by noticing and noting coincidences and synchronicities. These are noted in your planner diary, along with other observations. The positive feedback constantly reinforces what you are doing, meaning results come daily. That's how fast you can expect to see results. The MP3 audios use modern scientifically proven subliminal messaging. Uplifting music gets you pumped at the start of the day, whereas relaxing music is used before bed to induce deep sleep and dreaming. The subliminal messaging is designed to supplement and augment what you learned from the book. The MP3s make it very easy to rewire your brain for success. The subliminal affirmations are barely audible, and this allows the messages to go straight into your subconscious. The subconscious is the powerhouse of your brain and the part that communicates with the unified field, which will align situations and circumstances in your favour. In a nutshell, your invisible power quantum edition helps you manifest money and wealth, create an abundance of exciting opportunities, attract great friends and relationships, manifest health and a sense of well-being, and experience a never-ending and constantly expanding amount of fun, fulfillment, happiness, and enjoy entering your life as you achieve your goals, and much, much more. And it does all of this with a minimum amount of effort from you. You will learn how to get the universe to do the heavy lifting for you. Your job is the fun part of just joining the dots. Here's what resolving your lack of power and control means in your life. It means you can finally stop worrying about just scraping by each week money-wise, or an emotional roller coaster from payday to payday. No more debt. Having enough money coming in to pay off all debt and having the emotional security and stability that this brings. Imagine generating enough money to pay all bills and expenses and have plenty left over for a rainy day. In fact, enough to get you through a flood or any other unexpected emergency. And the peace of mind this wealth creates is priceless. You will feel emotionally secure in your relationships with sizzling passion. You'll have boundless energy to put an energetic spring in your step and a smile on the faces of those around you. Quickly transform from surviving to thriving. Imagine what realizing your dreams will mean to you and your family. Imagine how happy your partner will be and your children. Imagine doing what you want, when you want, not worrying about where the money will come from. Money to buy a beautiful new home. Money to pay for a luxury extended vacation, cruising the 7 seas. Money for your children's education. And being able to devote time and donate money to your favourite charity. When you invest in the Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition system, now you also get these 3 incredibly valuable bonuses by best-selling author Wallace Wattles for free. Bonus 1, The Science of Getting Rich ebook. This book lays out the exact steps you need to take to start manifesting amounts of money you have only ever dreamed about, so you start to live the life of your dreams. This book is endorsed and recommended by Bob Proctor. Bonus number 2, The Science of Being Great ebook. This book lays out step by step exactly what you need to do to start manifesting power in your life. And finally, be in control and receive the admiration you deserve. Bonus number 3, The Science of Being Well ebook. This book lays out an easy to follow blueprint and step-by-step plan for manifesting health and well-being into your life. Now you can achieve the success and admiration you know deep down in your heart you deserve when you get Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition system for around the price of dinner for 2 in an average restaurant. This special deal with the 3 bonus offers is only available for a short time, so grab yours now because this offer expires soon. How have others benefited from using the techniques taught in Your Invisible Power? Here's just some examples from within the book itself. Genevieve, Behrend, the author, personally manifested $20,000 to sail to England and stay. That's in Chapter 9. In Chapter 1, a woman quickly sells her real estate property and another woman from New York City gets her ideal job. In Chapter 2, a businessman doubles his orders in 6 months and a woman gets her husband to return to her. And in Chapter 7, a young man attracts the love of his life to marry him. Your Invisible Power is described by Bob Proctor as a life-changing book. He says it dramatically altered his life and can change yours too for the better. Here's how he describes what the book did for one of his business associates, Sandra. Changed Sandra's life like night into day. What is it worth to you to have health, happiness and true prosperity? To be more successful and envied by your peers? To have more money? To do more exciting things? What is it worth to you to finally get rid of all of your money worries? If you're watching right now, that's because you're serious about attracting money, becoming healthy and building more and better friendships. You're committed to success and the great feeling that brings, and I want to reward you for that. So because you're watching this video, you won't have to pay $197. You won't even have to pay $97. No, because I've convinced my publisher to offer a one-time discount coupon you can use, but only if you promise to do one simple favour for me. After you're done with the program, simply tell me how you'd improve things and share your success story with others to help inspire them. If you promise to do that for me, and I'll take you on your word, then my publisher has agreed to offer the program to you today for the special price that you see below. That's less than a couple of weeks worth of coffee at Starbucks. When you hit the buy button below before this video ends, you get the complete Your Invisible Power package and the 3 bonus ebooks for the special price you see below this video. That's not just a fair price, that's a bargain. Remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you don't get Your Invisible Power Quantum Edition system, are you just going to continue on in your current circumstances, business as usual, same daily grind on an emotional roller coaster? 1 step forward and 2 steps back? How much longer are you prepared to put up with frustration, heartbreak, and no consistency in your results or life? Or are you going to answer the call? You arrived here for a reason. The universe works in mysterious ways. You could be living the life of your dreams, and much sooner than you ever imagined. How would an extra $1,000 per week feel? And how good would you feel in that new home and driving that new car? And what about finally finding your soulmate and other great friends? And how good would it feel to be healthy and energetic, not flat and tired? There are 2 roads ahead of you right now. If you are struggling with money and you are unhappy because you never have enough, then listen up. If you continue on the road you are going right now, you are going to be stuck at that same office cubicle. You are going to have to put up with that mean boss you hate and a boss you can't understand. You are going to sit at the same desk with the same putrid coffee from the same vending machine. Is that really what you want? Or you can hit the button below right now and then take that step and everything can change. Because in an hour from now, you'll be on your way to manifesting money and wealth and all the benefit that brings, such as peace of mind, new car, new house, luxury holiday, children's education, etc. Create an abundance of exciting opportunities, attract great friends and relationships for an emotionally rewarding life. Manifest health and a sense of well-being so you feel great and have heaps of energy. Experience a never-ending and constantly expanding amount of fun, fulfillment, happiness and joy entering life as you achieve your goals. You need this training system to fulfill your potential. Your invisible power will be a blessing in your life. Here's what you need to do now. 1. Click on the big orange Add to Cart button below this video. 2. Fill in your info. 3. Pay securely using one of several payment options. And remember, you are covered by our 60-day 100% money-back satisfaction guarantee. In fact, it's better than just a money-back guarantee. If you are not absolutely thrilled with my product, you are eligible for a full refund. If you are not blown away with the results you get with your Invisible Power Quantum System, I'll give you your money back right away. And even if you don't like the sound of my Australian accent in this video, you can still get your money back. There is absolutely no risk to you. You can get your money back for any reason or no reason. You don't have to have a problem or an issue. There are no catches, no questions asked. So you have nothing to lose in trying your invisible power quantum addition system and everything to gain. All risk is on me. You must be delighted with your investment, or let me know by dropping me an email within 60 days of purchase for a no questions asked refund, and you get to keep the products. Remember, if you act fast, as well as your Invisible Power ebook, 2 MP3s and journal, you get the 3 bonuses. The Science of Getting Rich ebook, the Science of Being Great ebook, the Science of Being Well ebook. That's a total value of $197 for just the bargain price you see below this video. And one more thing, you have nothing to lose. Remember, you are covered by our 60-day 100% money-back satisfaction guarantee. Oh yeah, one final thing. Remember, if you buy today, you will receive instantly, and in 5 minutes time will be able to start learning how to improve your life. There are lots of other books and courses on the law of attraction these days, but how many have stood the passage of time and been tested in the University of Life to the extent of your invisible power? Your invisible power has proven itself for 100 years, and my new edition has taken it into the 21st century with the latest in quantum mechanics physics and cutting-edge subliminal audio technology to accelerate, improve and reinforce results, so you start manifesting your new reality faster, easier and more consistently than ever before. No more hit and miss. No more 1 step forward followed by 2 steps back. Consistent, solid, steady progress, and results you will start to see immediately. Or are you thinking you can get all the information you need for free from the internet? Well, you could. There is so much info in the public domain. The trick is in knowing what and who to believe. There is so much info, you will likely suffer information overload and confusion. Invest a huge amount of effort searching and waste a ton of time, something you can never get back. With your Invisible Power Quantum Edition system, all the info is right at your fingertips in one quick and easy read. And I have a confession. The headline isn't quite true. It mentions secret, but there are actually secrets. It's the nuances and subtleties that make this book so powerful. Think of Pareto's 80-20 principle. 80% of results come from 20% of actions and activities. One of the secrets is in understanding what's important. This little book focuses on the things that count, explains them in an easy to understand way, and makes it very clear exactly what you need to do. There are other books and courses, but most don't make the fine distinctions necessary to get the law of attraction to work on a consistent basis. And don't think that just listening to binaural beats will change your life. Sure, they are great supplementary tools, but they are secondary, not primary. This may not be what you want to hear. You will have to roll up your sleeves and take action. If you think just putting on a set of headphones or repeating a special prayer will fix all your problems, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Keep an open mind, but not so open your brain falls out. There are charlatans who will tell you that's all you have to do, and it's not your fault for where you are now. Well, here's some tough love, a dose of the truth. In a spiritual sense, it is your fault, because you chose what thoughts you have, no one else does. And this determines your success or failure. Sure, circumstances can knock you off course if you allow them to. But this powerful little book teaches you how to avoid this. You need to take responsibility. As Napoleon Hill in The Law of Success says, no man has a chance to enjoy permanent success until he begins to look in a mirror for the real cause of all his mistakes. And if you continue along this same path of not accepting responsibility, you will continue getting poor results. When nothing changes, nothing changes. Yes, you'll have to do some work, as in learning, but this work is exciting and very fulfilling. The more you put into learning manifestation, the less physical work you will have to do. The effort you put in will be fun. It's not hard work. For me, even though I have big muscles, I let the universe do all the heavy lifting these days. Remember, to paraphrase scripture, to those that have, more shall be given, and to those that have not, even the little they have will be taken away. Meaning, To those who have the higher consciousness, the belief, the faith, the understanding of how the law of attraction works, they will get more. And your invisible power quantum addition system will give you this understanding. Without this understanding, any gains you make will likely be short-lived. So what are you waiting for? Click the Add to Cart button below now, and you will soon be benefiting from the Your Invisible Power Quantum Addition System. Still here? Still sitting on the fence wondering whether you will benefit from your Invisible Power Quantum Addition System? Perhaps you feel like you already know all of this law of attraction stuff. Well, if you do, are you actually putting it into practice? And if you are putting it into practice, are you getting the results you want? If you answered no to either of these questions, then you need your Invisible Power Quantum Addition System. There is a true saying, to know and not to do is not to know. So if you are not happy with the way things currently are in your life, you need your Invisible Power Quantum Addition System.